Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. It's been a while since we've played this game, so surprise, we're back. We're going to be playing Beneath the Banner Shadow. This is our ongoing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign that is set in the world of Rostfin, and in particular in the kingdom of Vykaril, which is very heavily based on Arthurian legend and English and German folklore. This campaign has been going on for, I think, 8 maybe, years now, which is bonkers, because we are still like 3 bullet points from the end of like the campaign, as far as like major plot points. So we're like halfway through-ish. But no, I'm excited. I love the story that we've managed to tell with this game so far. And I cannot wait to finally get back to it. Like I said, it's been a number of months since we have managed to sync up and get together, and I'm really, really excited for what I have planned tonight. Same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games, and that is, if foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then my channel is not a good place for you to spend your time at all. But I have permission slips from all of these children who are gathered around this fine table with me this evening, so we are going to proceed. But before we do, I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, tell you where you may be able to find them on the internet, and plug anything that they have going on, and then we can get started. We're going to start with Steve.
Oh man, that's me. Um, wow. Where can you find me? Nowhere recently. Between life and life. Hmm. Uh-huh. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. Like I think the last time you guys played, I missed it because of hospital, which I'll have coming up again here soon. Yay. But whatever. I'm alive. That's what matters, right? And so I'm here, looking forward to it. It's been a while since I hung out with you guys. So looking forward to some fantasy woe rather than actual woe. And not like the Keanu Reeves style.
It's at least a change of flavor, you know. So you can. It's a palate cleanser, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's uh-huh. There hasn't been any, to the best of my knowledge, there have been no like evil witches or anything that have shown up at my house in real life.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, I'll take this change.
You know, I'm starting to question though. Maybe,
I
Yeah,
I,
they
just
must
I
be
maybe.
they must be tele spelling in.
Telespell. Products from the
could
80s.
just be.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
yeah, man. No, I'm super happy that you were able to join us tonight. It's been a long time since we got to sit down with you, so I'm happy to have you at the table, for woe or otherwise. All right. Next up, we've got Eli.
Hello, everybody. I am Eli Kurtz. I'm here playing Sir John Lightnor tonight. Big news in my life. This week, I published Sword Opera after working
Dude,
on this
congrats.
game for about as long as we've been playing this one. It feels extremely good to get that out into the world. It's gorgeous. It's fun. You can buy it on DriveThruRPG or on itch.io, in print and digital. And I have a cool poster map too, so check that stuff out. It's very fun. Um, Otherwise, just happy to be here.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations. It's a monumental achievement.
No
Um,
kidding.
I know kind of when you have mentioned that you've been working on it at various different stages since I've known you. So it's awesome that you've landed that plane.
Feels good.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. Speaking of feels good, last but certainly not least, Baron.
I think that's the best segue you ever do.
Check your mic. There you go.
That was probably the best segue you've ever given me, or at least the nicest. I'm Baron. I am actually on the internet again. You can find me over at MTD on Mondays in a Pathfinder 2nd edition campaign. It's quite a bit of fun. I will also be in the game jam next month. So that's pretty exciting. But outside of that, I like to play games with my friends, like these guys. I don't even know if I can do the voice anymore. I play Masaka Toad, the paladin who has friends.
That sums up Tord very nicely. Yeah, man. Super happy to have you back on the channel as always. Like I said, I feel very much like I don't remember what I'm doing. So we'll figure it out together.
It'll come back. It always comes back. He's
Oh, yeah.
there.
It's like
Gotta
riding a
knock
bike.
on the door. Yeah.
But yeah, like Barry mentioned, definitely go check out Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch. Jake is a good friend of mine and several of the people here that you see regularly on the channel. He runs a fantastic game, very fantastic production quality on his videos. So yeah, if you like what you see here, you'll like what you find there, I promise. But I think, without further ado, I think we're ready to go. Oh, our last player, Karen, hopefully will be joining us shortly. Karen, drive safe. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And if there are any other questions, let's do it. There are times when sorrow threatens to rip a hole through you, the width of an ocean, as if it would wash you away, one grain at a time, until nothing remained. Other times still, that same sorrow creeps in from all directions to envelop you in a knotted tangle of thorns, as if every move you make inflicts the worst kind of pain. Sorrow such as this has a bannerman named Grief, and we have no say when we find ourselves under his watchful eye. To fight or rebuke Grief means he only grows stronger the next time he appears on the battlefield. The only real solution, therefore, is to welcome Grief to pass through you, over you, around you, to recognize that it will forever become a part of you. We find the group of you in the middle of the lake. In Lake Kelmium, here deep in the heart of Vykaril, you have boarded a strange boat that you effectively grew on the shoreline when you were introduced to a tree growing on the shore of the lake, blooming with rotten fruit. As instructed by Firne, your guide, you had to eat the rotten fruit, which was merely an illusion, they assured you, and then plant the pits in the water just off of the shore, which would then grow a boat necessary to lead you to the Isle of the Lake, a place known as Ebiralath. Unfortunately, much to Firne's surprise, the illusion of the rotten fruit was not an illusion. The fruit was indeed rotten. So, you all powered through the disgust to consume this rotten fruit, and then planted the seeds and grew this boat made of twisted, gnarled branches You boarded this boat and rowed out into the mist-shrouded lake, where many of you may have actually been before, and you've never seen an island anywhere in this lake. However, this time, you start to see rocky outcroppings kind of poking through the mist here and there. At one point, you even stopped on one of these rocks. The place where Dane had had a vision of a woman standing atop this rocky outcropping. And when he climbed up to that spot on the rock, he could tell that someone had definitely been there, but it had been a long, long time. Long time. You got back onto this small boat and continued rowing deeper into the heart of the lake before you finally find yourself approaching a shoreline that is definitely not the other side of this lake. This is rocky. This has like jutting cliffs in places. Some of these structures tower above the level that you can see through the mist. And you can see carvings, the swirling patterns that sometimes are associated with druids of the deep woods, things that you might have seen in the Umberwood. The stones that you see here are old, ancient. You approach what looks like some kind of like a natural dock. It could have been worked or maintained at some point, but with the amount of like growth you see on it, it definitely doesn't look like it's been used recently. As you approach and you can disembark your boat, what are you doing? What is the conversation that's transpiring between your characters?
I think Sir John, I think everybody passes a while in silence, just looking at things because it's a very brooding kind of atmosphere. And I think eventually Sir John breaks the silence as because we're not rowing, the boat's just moving, right? Yeah. So I think Sir John says, "The year I became a squire, 12 years ago, I was here at Lake Kelmium. None of these jutting protuberances from the water were visible before, nor even on the last time I visited, not 2 years ago. Do we think in happier times, just as the fruit was ripe once, were these rocks friendlier in times past?"
Friendlier? Hmm. Do you mean like um more obvious or welcoming in the sense that the island didn't hide itself? Or someone didn't hide the island, or
Well, that I suppose, but also I would not want to run aground on any of these, and I wonder if once upon a time in healthier days that would have been different.
um Maybe.
I wonder if you can pull the blight from a tree once again. Return it to the way it was.
I know. I know that sometimes in my village, some of the wheat or barley would get blight, and you'd have to burn the entire field. And you'd have to do it quickly so it didn't spread to your neighbors' plants. I'm not saying I want to burn down the whole island or anything.
Or the whole kingdom.
That seems to already be happening.
Something from leaving?
Baron, can you repeat what you said? Because you locked up for a second and all we heard was something from leaving.
Is it preventing people from going there? Or is it stopping something from leaving?
I think most of what we've seen so far is the old world hiding itself from the new world so that it can survive. But maybe it's like a sick person. You know, someone who is afraid of being beaten or hurt, but they're sick at the same time. So they're hiding to prevent one bad thing from happening because they're afraid of it. And meanwhile, whatever sickness they have festers. I had a bad cut in my leg once, and I did that. I didn't want my well, you met him. I didn't need to be beaten on top of having a cut, and I thought the right thing to do would just be hide, and that just led to an infection.
You still have your leg. Could be worse.
I got lucky and strangers helped.
Not the last time you got lucky either.
I think luck
Look down
takes
at my
little.
sword hand. Yeah.
I think luck takes a little bit of credit away from you, don't you think?
No,
Indeed.
I'm just saying that I think there's some part of the world that was hiding so it wasn't just eradicated. And it's hiding. There haven't been the same heroes like in the books, like you two, like Ari, like us. They haven't been coming and going and heroing, and that means that there's been no one to notice it's festering until now. Even Ferney didn't know, and he seems to know more than he should about, at the very least, us.
It is a sad state of affairs.
Right. I just don't know if we're here to cut out the bad spot of an apple or burn a field of crops. I'm hoping it's the apple. But you have to admit, it's kind of incredible that this has just been hidden here the entire time. And if not, it's equally incredible that we're not where we think we are. Or, you know what I mean?
I do.
So,
You step out onto the docks.
well, I guess we just start walking until we find someone, something, or they find us, or we can try yelling really loud.
Are you staying in the boat? Have you gotten out onto the dock? You
I
moored
will
up?
be getting out and
Okay.
looking for, like
Muted
the
Baron.
rope that you would use to tie up the
Mm-hmm.
boat so it doesn't flow away. I don't even know if there is such a thing here.
Like a vine, or something that kind of grows out of this boat.
Right. So I'm over there trying to tie the vine to the dock. Probably not very successfully because it's a vine, not a rope.
Allow me. My oath of paladin allows me to cast entangle. I can tie off the boat.
There you go. Yeah, you just kind of like coerce the existing like vines and plants to just kind of like extend and kind of wrap around the existing structure of this dock. It kind of like creaks to an arrest.
Whatever it is incredibly relative to natural magics.
And I'll step out of the boat and onto the dock.
Yeah, I'll join.
Okay.
Now,
You-
question
Go ahead.
before. We are looking for something on this island for the sword?
Part of the
above the
prophecy
table?
has led you here.
We are looking for a stone to hone the sword on?
Yes.
Do we have the sword? Or is that just Dane at this point?
It
Dane's
is,
the sword?
yeah, currently Dane's hand.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I don't ever remember us forging a sword. I remember us forging a Dane. Just wanted to make sure that was
At this
clear.
point, they're kind of one and the same.
Yep.
Doesn't hurt to have like last time.
Right. Inwardly for several sessions, outwardly for at least a couple now.
Last time on Banners Beneath.
So yes, the particular line of the prophecy that you're looking for here is honed upon the stone from whence sword sprang.
I could take this really unseriously, but we should continue.
By all means. Levity in this game? I think not.
It's not one of the three things in the
It's not on the.
it's not on the
It
docket
can't.
for this
It
evening.
doesn't belong. Sorry.
It's not levity, struggle, light comedy.
Levity and woe. That's real life.
No, that's the name.
When you get out onto the dock and you kind of like make your way onto solid ground, you can see that this dock has a lot of the telltale architecture of something that is Divinian made. So Vykaril was kind of like a nation of individual tribes that would make truces with each other and then fight wars with one another. They were never really fully unified until Mathuran came along. But before then, the Divinians, which are kind of like the Greco-Roman analog of this world, came and settled here, and that's actually why most Vykarilians don't speak Vykarilian as a language. They speak Divinian, which is the common tongue of the world. So Divinian architecture is old in your characters' minds. And you can see that the architecture of this dock and the immediate kind of stonework that you've seen as you step foot on this island is built on top of a foundation of stones that are much, much, much older looking than that.
Don't suppose one of those will work.
Seems like something that would really stick out, you know. It's not just gonna be any stone.
Right.
Kind of up ahead where Firne and Ari have kind of been scouting ahead a little. You kind of hear the all clear from Ari, letting you know that at least as far as they have been, there doesn't seem to be any sign of trouble. And as you kind of like start to head away from the water, leaving this twisted branch boat behind, very quickly the mist of the lake just kind of seems to swallow the entire dock and boat as you leave it behind and kind of head further upwards into this landmass. And everywhere you look, you can see this abundance of life, but wilted. You can see grand arches of trellises and arbors that seem to be made of like existing branches and trees that have just kind of been coaxed into this kind of aesthetically beautiful shape. But all of the flowers are littering on the ground. You know, the leaves are brown on the edge and are curled in on themselves. It looks like there are weeds kind of like growing up in these places that look like they might have been manicured at one point. It's definitely a sense of tarnished beauty everywhere you look. And there's that kind of sick, kind of sweet smell of decay that permeates the air here, and the fog seems to just almost like aerate and vaporize it to the point where it's palpable, like you can taste it on your tongue as you make your way deeper into this island. Each one of you, if you would, please, describe something that you come across that is just something you either see or have an obstacle you have to clear as we make our way deeper into this Fey territory.
I'll go. I think this is just something we see. The foliage, as we're kind of traveling inward, it's like, it's not withering, it's like melting. Like the leaves themselves are distending in odd ways. Like the material that's being held together is weak, maybe even putty-like. And so like when you walk past a tree and you push your hand on it, the bark doesn't like hold. It kind of like squishes and indents to the shape of your hand, like you're pushing the skin around the tree. And it's probably all really hot if it's decaying. Warm.
I think as we're walking along, we encounter a place where once upon a time it was probably avenue, like a straight path forward, with trees branched over almost as if they were drapes. And like vines and leaves would kind of drape down on either side in this way that was beautiful. There are stories that are passed down of knights' visits to the island, and they talk about this gorgeous avenue to walk down in one stretch. But here, the vines completely cover the path, and we start like, gently kind of pushing them out of our way. Sir John, I think, is a little nervous to be drawing his sword in any kind of aggression in an environment like this. And so he's kind of leading the way and pushing past these vines and stuff. And pretty soon we realize that the floor has dropped away and we have to traverse on these vines, like climbing laterally through them to be able to get back to the land and the path on the other side.
I think there's a point where we come across these arranged gatherings that would be like if someone coaxed flowers to grow in bouquets. So plants that aren't necessarily meant to grow together. And it would have been this kaleidoscope of blooms and color. But now the bulk of the plants are wilted and heavy, the leaves sort of that melty, drippy. And as you look into it in those looking for where you would have seen the blooms of the flowers, I think now we see like the skeletal remains of like squirrels and birds, like those have taken the place of what would have been the flowers. Hummingbirds that would have been there feeding as this vine wrapped around them and has held them so long that now the hummingbird corpse is the bloom.
Aaron, welcome, hot potato.
My brain not working.
No, no.
No.
You want us to come? You good? You want us to Skippy? Skippy? Okay.
Sorry.
Not a worry. All right. You continue kind of making your way deeper into this kind of twisted version of what you might have expected. And Fierne is no, low key is not Fierne style in the least. So he is high key. They are high key freaking out about the state of things. It's very obvious that none of this belongs this way. And you haven't really come across a lot of people, and you get this sensation that it's not because there's no people here. You kind of get that constant impression that you're being watched, but not necessarily like stalked, not hunted, just observed.
Is it that feeling like you see in the movies where they go into a town and they're not supposed to be there, and so everyone's like kind of looking at them like through the blinds, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shops are all closed today for some reason, and yeah,
Exactly. The things are left out, that show that somebody was here not that long ago. But it's definitely an odd sensation. It's almost like someone should be here, but they just aren't.
the things that are left out, like, are we talking like I don't know, like a bundle of wood that was in the midst of being taken from point A to point B and now it's sat there type of thing, or
Exactly.
a book that someone left open and you're like, well, that would have rotted by now, that makes no sense.
Exactly.
All right, so I walk over, Dane walks over to this book, it's sitting on a stump, and this blighted grass is pressed down in that sort of butt pattern where someone had been, sitting there. And perhaps, it gives the impression like maybe it was the dad who was watching kids gather this firewood, right? And like here's his book that he, and picking it up and looking at it, is the book timely? Like, is this, is it written in Divinian, or, is it written in old Vykaril, like, Vykarilian?
Mm-hmm. It is Sylvan, so it is kind of like the precursor to Elven. So to your eyes, it would probably be fairly indistinguishable from Elven. Do you understand Elven?
I do.
Okay. So it's kind of like understanding Spanish and trying to read French. So it's not a one-to-one.
But you get some of the cognates.
Yeah, exactly. You can get some of the
Okay.
gist of kind of what you're reading. And it seems to be a recounting of a tale of what you're assuming to be just like mortals, just regular people. And it seems to be kind of a benign account of this person's life. You see them talking about like their day to day, about what happens when they were born and how they grew up and like what they did in their life. And it's not really striking as far as like, especially the stories that you're used to reading. But as you kind of thumb through, you realize there are lifetimes of like people's stories in this volume that are entertainment somehow.
Like here's Davos the horse tender
yes,
type
Of,
of
like,
thing, but
regular
it's
people.
like from the day that he became a horse tender till the day that he retired, and you're
yeah, it's like a full life depiction of these individuals.
I can read that.
Sure, I'll hand it to you. And like there's a weird smile on Dane's face because somehow like that's slightly romantic to him, like that they're like, hey, the carpenters and like, shepherds matter, right? Like, oh, here we are reading about these like heroes and stuff, and like the
This
the
is
Sylvan are reading about like butchers.
no, this is their like lo-fi reading.
Right,
It's
right.
like slice of life stuff, like the conflict's never really too big, but
It's their Emperor's New Groove.
yeah, exactly. It's just a slice of life novel about
Well, yeah, I'll hand you the book, and start immediately looking around, in that probably way too obvious. Maybe it even makes, Ari and Sir John a little uncomfortable with like how intently I'm now staring into all the places that I think there might be somebody. Like, there's nothing covert about me going, there's somebody around here.
I think whenever you take the book and hand it to Tord, Fierne stands like beside where the book was with their arms folded across their chest.
Huh?
You're going to take something that doesn't belong to you and then not offer something in exchange?
Oh, I wasn't keeping it.
It looks like he is.
No, his hands are just really big.
Tord thumbs through it a little bit, and he kind of like
Slice of life's not really my thing.
he like sets it back in the grass.
Thank you for the offer, though. Your life was probably very entertaining.
He says to the butt print.
Oh no, I don't think the butt print. It's not about them.
I just don't know who else to thank. Seems rude otherwise. Fierne
Oh.
seems to have a problem with it.
I mean, that makes sense if you take it without leaving him something. You are kind of stealing it.
I don't want it.
Right. No, I didn't say you. All right. Well, it's It's back where it was. I didn't think about how difficult this was going to make reading books.
Did you want to read it, Fierney?
Oh no, I've read it.
It's good.
It's all right. I think there are more interesting stories. He kind of looks at all
So
of you.
Not really worth trading
Wait.
for.
If you're into that kind of thing, I suppose it could be worth something. Everything's worth something.
So
Do you know who lived here?
Live. Yeah, there's lots of individuals. This place is kind of a way station, if you will, between my world and yours.
There are no people here now.
Oh,
the footprint didn't make itself.
there certainly are people here.
Now.
Yes.
You don't feel them staring at us?
Well, sure, but I don't see anything.
That's kind of the point. Fiorne says very matter-of-factly.
Right. Magical island that hides itself, and here are people that were not expected. I'd be hiding too.
And here are not people that were not expected.
No, here are not people that were expected. Not
Humans are so confusing.
He gestures.
says,
Sir John
looking at
gestures at
Ari.
the houses.
Shall we?
Shall we? What?
Carry on?
After you.
Do you know where we're going?
I don't. No.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine if we wander around long enough, we'll find it. Seems to be the way things happen.
It's worked for us so far. Kind of.
You just stumble around all over the place until you find something.
Or it finds us. So
I
you
mentored under a guy like that. It was terrible. Never knew we were going.
Me too. I look at Sir John.
Sir John is looking at Fierney right now, and he says, if there are people here now, and you don't know where we're going, could we ask them?
I suppose we could. I don't know if any of them want to talk to you.
Would they talk to you?
Well, of course they would. Oh, you want me to talk to them for you?
Perhaps. What's your price?
Hmm. I have noticed you admiring that kerchief.
No.
Oh, one whiff?
It remains in my hands.
Oh, very well. I'm not going to take the damn thing from you. Fine. And they kind of lean forward expectantly with their eyes closed.
Sir John pulls it out of his sleeve. He's wearing his armor and everything, but it's like tucked in his sleeve. And he holds it out for Fierney to smell.
They lean in and take like a big smell of like this beautiful cloth.
It smells like it's kept inside a fighting man's plate armor.
Oh. She is a lovely creature, isn't she?
Her memory is so sweet, as Sir John says as he's tucking it away.
And you, Rene kind of looks at you. Naughty dog, you.
So, let's get to conversation.
Very well. Stay here. I'll see what I can find out. And they kind of turn and meander off into the entangled woods that kind of surround you. disappearing from sight at some point. You're literally, stepping behind a tree at some point, not coming out the other side. And you have several minutes, probably closer to like 15 to 30 minutes before Journey returns to yourselves. Is there anything that you want to talk about or do?
So you've been keeping it on you this whole time?
I want to remember her always.
Have you cleaned it?
Well, when I clean myself.
So no.
Excuse me, I am noble born.
Right.
So like once
You
every
are
2
no
3
stranger
weeks.
to seeing me in the river.
Tord
Yeah,
looks
as
at
a
Dane.
specimen,
Dane looks at Tord.
yes, I'm intimidating. What a guy.
my, what a guy. And they wanted to smell it.
I'll tell you this, it's the easiest price I've paid in some time.
He smelled you. There's nothing left of Lady Claudine on there. It's just you.
She lives in my heart, and when my heart looks upon the kerchief, it burns all the brighter.
I think maybe he's smelling the emotion of it.
Spicy like onions, I bet.
For his sake, I hope he's smelling the emotion of it.
Well, he didn't immediately vomit, so
I'm not inclined to wonder what Fiona's into, okay?
he was a horse for a while, so
Listen, I said what I said.
Ari, do you know anything about the tastes of Fae?
God damn it.
I think so. Up to this point, Ari, when Faraday gave you that the comment about you dirty dog or whatever, I think Ari looked at you and her eyebrow kind of raised. At this, and she's just been listening to the banter that you guys have been found that with kind of a little smirk on her face. And then you asked that question, and I think she just kind of like, at one point, she just blushes really. She was not expecting that at all. And then she turns and walks away, finds the book that was on the ground and pretends to read it.
oh, she definitely knows what Faye tastes like.
Don't forget to leave something in exchange.
Maybe
It's the
she can see
rules.
them and speak to them. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We should ask her when she gets back.
You can.
I'm
Deal.
not coming back.
Oh, well, since you heard, can you see or hear them?
No.
Ah,
But I don't think I might tell you anyway if I did.
Right. That no sounded very owl pelletish,
Oh dear. This man had quite the life.
The 2 pages that I read were pretty good, but I wasn't going to trade for it.
So do you think that that Fairnay meant that this place can be used to cross into where the Fae are from? Like,
What do you mean where the Fae are from? I thought they just came from the deep woods and wild places.
Oh no. But to answer your question, then I believe that is exactly what Verne was meaning, as this is a way station,
okay,
crossing of such.
right. And the Fae are kind of like a predecessor to the elves in a way, right? Like there's some connection there. Which makes it older. So what is it worse if the blight's coming from there? Or if it's here and then there's a chance that it goes there?
So you're
Tomato.
thinking that the Fey world is under a blight too. Is that what-
Or about to, I mean, it would have, I may, yes, all right, hear me out. If the, how do all right, it's a ferry, right? On one side is one town, on the other side is another. And if people from both towns often visit an island in the middle, and that island started to suffer a disease or blight, if either side was capable of curing the blight, they would be actively working towards it, right? Unless we're not capable of it, and the blight is so bad or started in the Fey side of the fairy analogy. Because otherwise, wouldn't they be here taking hummingbird skulls out of bushes and trying to push it back?
Or they're unaware and it started with us. And we didn't even know.
Right. All right. So that's scary in and of itself, right? Because that means that this being a way station, the process of taking the ferry to where the Fae are from is broken because no one's gone from here to there to tell them for them to come fix it, or they don't care. Like we've pissed them off so much that they're not willing to use their magic to help sustain this magical island.
Or there was no one here to go tell.
The butt print didn't make itself.
Well, how old is the butt print?
It's fairly recent butt print.
I mean, time here is kind of relative, don't you think? I mean, do you think it really follows the same way?
I'm kind of hoping it does.
Hmm.
All right, we know there's people here. Pacific said there were people here. What are the odds that the people that are here that he's going to go talk to that aren't going to be terrified out of their minds of him are normal people like I go to say me and then again look down at this sword for an arm, like the people of Vykaril. So that would mean that the people he's going to go talk to are probably Fae who live on this island. And that's why the book's written in, I'm assuming, Fae, because it's not quite Elvish. And that means that they would have seen it turn bad. And if they could fix it, would fix it, or cared to fix it, it would be being fixed. So either they don't want to or they can't. If they can't, we can probably solve that with a sword.
Your
If-
intellect is
And that right
astounding,
there is what I've
Dane.
been looking for. Let's
And
go.
if they
No.
won't solve it, we gotta fix it with
Wait for me.
talking. And
So when Fiorne comes back, maybe we should ask him if ask them if this blight is also in their land or
I hope he asks that question because he seems to be surprised when we ate the fruit and all wanted to vomit because it was rotten. So he didn't know it was blighted out
but
here.
Fiorne is a Fae.
Maybe he's just
Right.
been away.
But he's a neighborhood Fae versus like a island Fae. Right. He's been in our world. He's been disconnected from the Fae world. Honestly, I'm beginning to think they probably kicked him out. And so, I mean, he hasn't been here in a while, or he would have known about the blight. But there are Fae that are here because they were reading that book. Again, fresh butt print.
But I understand where you're going, but I'm just saying, I mean, I didn't know what was happening down in your hometown, Tord. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of it, but one of those lands. I mean, we didn't even know until we went down there ourselves and saw. And none of them knew what was happening up in Warrington until we told them. So I mean, to assume one Fae is going to know what's happening in all the lands of Fae is I mean, that's putting a lot on that Fae, don't you
Well,
think?
yes, I suppose, but there were messengers that were sent. That's kind of how we found out about the whole witch shaboodle in towards homeland. But 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 I mean, where do the Fae go in Vykaril? Are there other Fae way stations? Are there secret Fae villages dotting the landscape that we can't see until we get a magical wagon made out of potatoes that
Yes.
drives us? Hmm. Hmm. Mhm.
At least one of you notices Fearnay, like, poking out from behind a tree, kind of just watching this exchange. Oh. You're finished. Wonderful.
Probably not.
Fearnay approaches. So, things are a little dire at the moment. This famine seems to have spread throughout the island, and the castle that was built here seems to be surrounded by a wall of thorns for some reason. I haven't figured out why, but they are rather interested to know if you have any food on you. Apparently, this famine has rendered all of the food on the island inedible. Quite peckish.
I don't have much, but I think but it's not much, but I'd cast Goodberry and there'd be however many. Was it
That
10
might
berries? So
work.
it's not much, but it's something.
It should at least satiate their hunger. Very well. They kind of will take them from you and kind of like put them on a nearby flat rock. As if offering them to someone that you don't see. There is apparently also a way through this wall of thorns, but it does sound rather treacherous. I'm sure you're not interested in that, so perhaps we could look elsewhere on the island.
Of course we're interested in it.
I
But my
was afraid you'd
question
say that.
would be, are the thorns there to keep something out or to keep something in?
Well, I certainly don't know.
We did have a question for you though, actually, while we were talking. This famine, this blight that we're seeing here on the island, is it localized here, or has it already spread to the world of the Fae?
I certainly hope not. Now, you see, this place is both a part of your world and a part of mine. So it's a little of both. It seems as though perhaps maybe the blight, the famine, has already reached the Feylands, but I have not heard anyone speaking of it, so maybe it is localized there as well, one would hope. God, can you imagine this spreading everywhere?
I
Shudder
do
at
not
the
know.
thought.
And just for my own reference, on our side, it hadn't spread very far from the entrance to this place, right?
It seems to be on this island.
On this island only.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
and the tree on the shoreline.
yeah. So the basically the doorway and this island, that's all it had spread to it so far.
Seems to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you insist, the entrance into this wall of thorns barrier is supposedly not far this direction. Hirine kind of gestures.
After you. And
Are they just hungry? Like, no one's hurt or
No, more hunger at this point. It seems many of the people who were suffering the worst went elsewhere. Can't really blame them. They kind of like pick up like a wilted branch that's kind of like grown over what is kind of like a stone seat and kind of releases it with disgust on their face.
Elsewhere into the island or out into Vykaril?
Personal choice, I suppose.
So we may encounter people on our path.
Oh, it certainly is always a possibility. Again, if they decide that they want to meet you. They are rather intrigued by the lot of you. They seem to be having a great time watching you wander around the island so far. They're curious about what it is you may do while you're here.
right.
I told them you weren't that interesting. They don't seem to believe me.
Don't imagine they see many people walking around with swords for arms. I have some rations. They're not magical, but you can have them. They can have them.
Very well. They indicate like the seat that they just like cleared away this like dead withered branch from. If you leave it here, I'm certain they will find it. Again, they'll see. They're watching now.
Do your people eat meat? I don't want to be insulting if I leave some salted meat or something.
Thierny kind of wrinkles their nose. Some who develop a taste, but for the most part, no.
I have cheese and some bread and wine. I can here.
Wine.
I'll just put.
Fairnay says as they then like saunter directly over to you. You did not mention that you had wine.
I don't really think about it. I've had it
How
for.
can you not think about wine?
Well, I've had it for a long while. I had picked it up originally to give it to Ari, but
is it human wine?
It's not made from humans, if that's what you mean.
Shame. Rene says, and then like turns and begins to walk away.
All right. Look. Anyway, so this bottle's from a human village, and then this is from where. And I lean in real close to you, Ari. Is it okay to tell them that we're visited Bane Shield and stayed there for a while? That's where I got this other wine from, or should I not mention that?
I can't imagine why it would be bad to mention it. I mean, I don't know if they'd even know, but sure.
The whole horse thing. Okay.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Skip that part.
All right. So I'll just as he turns, I'll go, this is elven wine, and I'll just toss it towards him, expecting his fey-like reflexes to turn and catch it. And if it hits him, it hits him. Yeah.
When you toss the wine at Firne, it's actually not Firne who catches it. You see like a flitting creature, maybe that you think at first might be a hummingbird, like dive out of a nearby tree and intercepts this bottle, this wineskin, and you realize like it's a pixie.
Yep. And so 3 things immediately crossed my mind. 1, wow, she caught that. 2, holy shit, they're real. 3, are those hummingbirds in the bushes that are dead more pixies? Like just hi?
It stares back at you. Its eyes like super wide. Its wings like the only thing on it that are moving as it kind of like hovers in place. And then makes like, it looks like it's kind of like saying something to you, but all you hear is like a tinkling. It sounds almost like somebody like ringing a very small bell. And then it disappears back into the tree that it came from with the wineskin. And you see like a ton of the branches in that area like very quickly kind of like moving around as if almost like a squirrel or like a group of squirrels were like in that tree, and you hear more of that tinkling.
His turn, look at everybody else. You guys saw that, right?
I think Ari puts her hand on your finger if you're pointing it out. And kind of puts your hand down so you're not pointing at them anymore.
I just
For anybody who looks, you notice that all of Ari's good berries are gone. Something came without you seeing or hearing it and absconded with them.
so again, I lean in real close. Ari, are those people?
Aye.
Okay. That's good. I just had this realization. So one time there were cats that kept coming by my house, and I kept feeding them, and then they kept coming back, and that got me in a lot of trouble. So I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to be like that. But if they're people, that's good. Okay.
I think she just kind of smiles and nods at you and kind of pats you on the back as, like an older sister would for kind of thing, and just starts to walk, I guess, where Fernay has maybe started to head off to.
You walk on for a while, and at some point there's a break in the rock outcroppings and the trees and stuff where you come to like a cleared area, and on the other side you see an enormous tangled wall of brambles that stretches as far as you can see in either direction. Firne stops in their tracks whenever they see this, and has like this moment of genuine like shock. I don't understand what's happening here. This is strange magic.
Could it be that this is maybe the beginning of where the blight started, if you will, like there's a word for it. I think you call it epicenter or something like that. Could it be that this is the origin that spread in from here?
Certainly could be. My hunch would be that they're related, at the very least. This is not supposed to be here.
What normally is here?
More trees, more forest, healthy forest. It extends on for some time, and eventually you come to that old ruin of a castle.
A ruin of a castle. So even when this place was healthy, it was a ruin.
Well, parts of it that have
Ancient.
fallen in and things. Nobody really goes there. It's a very distasteful place.
What do you know about it?
Not much. It was built by some human or other that decided to try to settle this island, and well, that obviously didn't go well. Like I said, no one really goes there. It's not off limits per se. That would be delicious, but no, it's more just tacky.
How long are we talking about here? Or how long ago they
Oh,
tried to settle?
a few 100 years or so? You know, within a human's lifespan or so, I would guess. Maybe not. I'm bad with that kind of thing. They live such short, miserable lives. No offense, Verne says over towards those of you who are human.
Hmm. And you don't know anything about this human that would have tried to settle here?
No, he's some king. One of those people that is obsessed with wearing a circlet on their head.
Dane,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that all the stories you've been telling us, throughout the time, this
Mhm.
feels like it might be one of them or something. It has that feeling to me. Do you have any stories that might shed light upon what we might be dealing here?
I mean, mm,
You can certainly roll a history if you'd like.
oh, sure. Camagel dice. Well, I guess it's good to come back with a splash, right? So natural 20. Because why not? Yeah, so total of 25.
Yes. Okay. You recall a story. So mythical places touched by Fae are definitely not something that is out of the ordinary in a lot of the stories that you were reading growing up. It's pretty common that when these heroes venture away from the civilized land out into the wilds, they inevitably encounter something supernatural, and beings from the Fey realm are definitely not unheard of. Um, But the story that actually kind of comes to mind is about Mathuran Gabrain's father, who supposedly established a stronghold on a mystical island surrounded by fog. It was supposed to be, an impenetrable fortress, and from that fortress, he laid claim to vast swaths of old Vykaril. Like, he became an incredibly powerful warlord, and supposedly it was because of the strength of his stronghold that he could not be beaten. He could not be conquered. And this kind of seems to somewhat be lining up with that.
Is Mathuran Gabrain's father portrayed as a heroic individual, or one of those ones who falls to the darkness because of power type of thing?
Definitely more of the latter than the former. Was a great warrior. Did what no one else could. Rose to immense power, but was a ruthless warlord.
Was mm, was Camagel a hand-me-down sword?
There are some stories that say that Mathurin retrieved the sword from his father, and there has been some debate amongst scholars as to the exact meaning of that phrase.
Um, yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of stories about castles and and even some about kings who got Fae to come and reside with them, and as artisans or advisors. Um, but so I don't know how much of it's history or how much of it is fairy tale. But apparently, so some long time ago, Mathuran Gabrain's father was a uh, at one point he was the great unifier, right? He set out from his fortress. His people loved him. He rode around, uniting everybody. But then the story gets retold and maybe even translated, and it's less uniting and a lot more conquering involved. And right, history's written by the winners. Uh, this might be his castle. He apparently had a castle on an island surrounded by fog that was unassailable. And that's part of what made him so effective. He could besiege entire areas and then fall back to his fortress during the winter and wait, come back out again because he had things here. And the island was always hospitable, right? It didn't suffer from the same winters and such. But over time, he gets stronger and stronger and more corrupt, and doesn't exactly end the story as a very good person. But that kind of lines up, right? Island, fog, castle.
Timing was right. How did his story end up? I mean, we know about Mathuran, but
So no one has a definitive answer on that. There are waxing poetic ones that say that, he lay in his bed and spoke to his son, telling him to do better than what he had, that there was an ability to unite everyone without having to shed blood. But that sounds far, far too poetic to, and I kind of point at the castle for this. Others others say that Mathurin quite literally had to come back here and defeat his own father to stop his tyrannical rampaging of everything. Others say that he just grew insane and retreated here, corrupted by his own desires and influenced by fey magic that, well, honestly, mortals aren't meant to be surrounded by all the time. It has a way of changing. So if you're asking me, are we going to go in there to a completely empty castle and just go pick up a whetstone and ride on to the next adventure? Is it more likely that there's some horrible rendition of Mathuran Gabrain's father inside there that is corrupting the land, and in his death and darkness now trying to spread his blight across Vykaril because it's his death throes of conquering? Uh-huh. Yeah. That seems fitting for everything we've been through. But if it is his castle, that's good, because some of the stories do say that's where Mathurin got Camagel from. So the stone from whence the sword sprang could just be the stone of the castle, because that's where he took it from. Or maybe his father, displayed it on a dais or something. I don't know. But whether this is the right direction or not, we can't let all the pixies and fairies and fae starve to death because of this,
agreed. I think
right? Yeah.
we're here, and we're meant to be here, or we wouldn't be here. And this place is not the way it's supposed to be. So
I feel like it's that sort of destiny thing cropping up again, because while we didn't know about the plague or whatever you want to call this, it's not a plague or people, right? Blight. I mean, clearly the witch knew about it, the white witch. She told us this was gonna suck coming here.
mhm.
So she knew something was amiss. Uh, maybe some witch has moved in here and taken up residence in the castle. The witch of
Mhm.
deforestation or something. Right. So that's what I know. Another thing I know is we gotta figure out a way to get to these brambles. Or staring up at them. Maybe those aren't brambles anymore.
Birne calls from a little distance off. I think I found something. As you approach, you see, in fact, that there does seem to be an opening, a pathway that leads into this forest of thick, tangled, thorny brambles. So, Birne says, I think this is a fine place for us to part company.
Oh, no.
For the time being, don't worry, darling, I'll be back.
Where are you headed then, if you're not?
Anywhere but here. They kind of like indicate the thorn wall. This just does not work for me.
You worried you might break a nail or something?
Oh, much worse than that. Worried I might not have any nails by the time that we're finished. This place is unhealthy. I do not enjoy the general feeling that I get just coming out of this place. This is not what I do. This is what you do. You asked me to show you, and I have shown you the way. There, right there, a path.
I mean, to be fair, Ariana's not going to press Fairnay into this because she kind of remembers the last time we went and fought against a witch, what happened to poor Fairnay, and still feels a little guilty about that. So
It might have something to do with it. So, I will be waiting around. Whenever it is that you come back out, if in fact you all come back out, I will, I'll meet you then. They're like most of the way behind a tree. Ta-ta. And then gone.
So I think Ari would be looking into the opening, and it's mighty convenient, don't you think, that there's just happens to be a path in? Of course there is, right? But I'll go first. Watch my back. Be careful. And I think with that, she'll just kind of, do the whole stand up straight, take the deep breath and then start forward.
You move
Short
forward
sword at her side
towards the entrance to this opening, and you don't get very far before you notice there is a suit of armor, like a full plate, resplendent, at least at one point, suit of armor that is kind of like somewhat suspended, almost like the way that Steve was describing the hummingbird blossoms that you saw before, almost kind of like caught up in these brambles. There's multiple like swords and things sticking out of this suit of armor, and you can see bones from inside of this suit. And as you start to move closer, the brambles and thorns that are encasing and kind of like growing in through this suit of armor begin to like move, and the suit of armor actually like steps out of the tangled wall and kind of like moves to block the path. And kind of standing in this opening, this voice emanates from this creature. You go no further.
I think Sir John moves up to the front of the group. He was at the back. He was ready to like take up the rear and cover, whatever's behind them. But I think seeing this ancient knight step out and want to do battle, I think Sir John kind of like parts the others in front of him until he gets to Ari, and he kind of like puts a hand on her shoulder and is like, "Let me take care of this one." and steps forward. He's already got shield and sword in hand, and he says, "We shall go further."
The twisted, kind of gnarled vines seem to almost like physically turn this helmet in your direction, Sir John, to regard you.
It is my sworn oath to block the way through this wall. If you intend to continue forward, you will have to do so through me.
Stand aside, or I shall best you.
I cannot stand aside. It is my solemn oath. I swore it to a man far better than you.
Who are you, Sir Knight?
My name is Berdalak von Haltbedel. There are those who now call me the Knight of Thorns.
Do I know that name in the same way I might know like Knights of the Round Table style names?
So, you can give me a history roll.
I will try that. It's not as good. 17.
That's still pretty good. So, yes. Berdalak von Haltbedel was a member of Mathuran's Knights of the Round Table. He was one of his, like, most noteworthy knights.
Sir Berdalak, you swore this oath to Mathuran?
Indeed. King Mathuran Gabrain himself.
We need to get past you.
Then you must go through me.
Must we? Would you not help us to reforge a broken Camagel?
My vow dictates that I must prevent any mortal from crossing into this realm. I am the protector of Mathuran Gabrain's mother.
And what if I told you that I wasn't completely mortal anymore?
There is no discussion or negotiation to be had. My vow was set in stone the moment it was made. If you wish to proceed, you must go through me.
So John steps forward.
Okay.
I tried.
Sir John, you step forward. You said you had your shield and your sword already.
Yeah, so my goal here is to have my shield kind of held back by my body, giving me really ample close protection. And I want to extend my sword arm forward. And my goal is to like provoke a response from the knight. I'm advancing, like I will not stop unless it stops me.
Okay. This knight practices an art form that would be very old. in Sir John's eyes. Like, relies a lot on bold lunges, big swings with its weapon, with its sword, and definitely does not employ its shield as often as it should. However, you can tell that even though this suit of armor seems to be basically just kind of kept moving by these animated brambles and whatever magic this thing has in it, that this was a stout warrior, someone who had significant training and experience on top of that. It definitely does not seem like it is going to be an easy combat to overcome. So, what I would like, please, is a d4 from you.
That's a 4.
Okay. So, effectively, it's going to take you 5 rounds. But what I would like, instead of us actually having a D&D combat where we roll to hit and subtract hit points, describe to me how the first exchange, the first round of this combat unfolds, and how Sir John is victorious, but maybe a little concerned.
Yeah, so the Knight of Thorns is coming at John like a buffalo. It's just like relentless attacks, big swings, like you said. This is like the first type of person that Sir John's art is designed to respond to, like an untrained barbarian on the battlefield or something. And so he's deflecting all these things just by nature of like his stance almost at first, right? But the strength of the Knight of Thorns is truly prodigious. And Sir John himself is like one of the very strongest in the realm. And this knight, it far exceeds him. And so, as much as his art is serving him well in this first exchange, the toll that it's taking on his overall stamina is a real shock to him.
Anybody who is wanting to can roll an insight check. Sir John, you can have advantage on this.
It's a dirty 20 for me.
Okay. Okay. So Dane, I don't know if maybe it's the awe maybe that Dane is kind of struck with of like what is unfolding, that maybe is a little bit of a distraction that you don't really pick up on this. However, Tord and Ari, and then Sir John as well, all of you notice that this creature, this knight, is fighting with the tenacity, the ferociousness that you would expect from a knight who is fighting for something that they truly believe in, that they have given their word on. But there does seem to be something else in the way that he is responding, the way that he is fighting. There's lapses, as if maybe the faintest hint of hesitation at hurting or killing Sir John whenever maybe there was an opening that he could have taken. Eli, if you would describe the next round, the next exchange between the two of you?
So John has been kind of clocking the knight's pattern, tendencies, and that sort of thing, instincts. And so I think in the second exchange, Sir John will wait for a blow to come, and it hits, and then as it's receding, Sir John like surges his shield forward and kind of knocks the entire arm of the knight off path up into the air or something like that for a second, and then comes in with a slash and a thrust of his sword, and then recovers back into a guard real quick.
Perfect. There's a moment where, though you are certain this creature does not draw breath, it seems almost as if it is kind of like breathing heavily. And there's like a brief pause, a respite, before the next exchange.
You are a worthy opponent. I did
Stand
not
aside.
get your name.
I am Sir John of the House LIII, called the Red Eagle Knight. I am the greatest combatant of my age.
Though I do not know your family's name, I soon shall.
Do you yield?
Never!
Sir John smiles.
He charges forward for the third exchange. His ferocity, his tenacity is further on display, almost goaded by your ask if he yields, Sir John. So if you would please, Eli, the third round.
How about you start this one, and then I'll play off of you.
Very well. I think he strides forward, his resolve doubled, and he starts into the same patterns that you have come to recognize, that you've come to exploit. But he only gets about 2 or 3 steps into repeating that pattern, just enough to where you have committed to defending yourself against the attack that you have seen repeatedly over and over again. And then he changes at the last moment. He pivots and changes your expectations and comes around the top of your shield and connects with your pauldron on the back. Not enough to serve an injury, but it'll definitely leave a bruise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that happens, and Sir John kind of... I imagine this armor is like pretty tall, and Sir John kind of like gets hit and pitches forward and maybe like rolls over his shield and comes up behind the armor. I know that it's animated vines. Are these vines connected to the wall, or is it like the vines sort of entered and stand alone?
They initially were a part of the wall, almost like Bootstrap Bill from Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's like a part of the wall.
Yeah.
At first, and then he kind of like steps away, and like the growth comes with him. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So it's not currently connected to the wall.
Okay, got it. I think then I will, as I come up behind, I will slash out with my sword right at the back of one knee. Like right in the gap in the armor.
Excellent. The leg from the knee down, including the greave, and I don't know what the part of an armor covers your foot is called, but that collapses to the ground noisily, and there's a moment where this knight like starts to teeter to the side, but you watch as the vines kind of like grow downwards almost to fill the space and act as a almost like a prosthetic leg in its place.
So the armor fell away, but there's like a new vine leg there to replace it.
Essentially, yeah.
Cool.
Seems to repair itself, quote unquote, though it is not armored the same. And you can see that inside the greave that fell away, like there's very clearly like a human leg bone.
Okay.
Um,
I think, yeah, I slash and then I say, "Do you yield, knight?"
I cannot yield. It is impossible.
you can sense again there's this level of realization, maybe. This creature seems to know that it's going to be beaten. Maybe that it on some level wants that, but likely would never admit it.
All right. Yeah, and so John, like, he's no longer pristine, right? He kind of like moves his shoulder just a second to limber it up, and then he's back at it, shield and sword, ready to go.
Okay. The Knight of Thorns charges back in as well. Let's see. He charges in, this time using his own shield to like sweep low, almost like he's gonna try to take your legs out from under you with the edge of his shield. I think it's easy for you to deflect this attempt, but as you look up, he has actually switched his sword into his shield hand, where he's basically like holding the blade and using the crossguard to like come across underneath your helmet.
Oh, so he's swinging it like a club, like backwards.
Yeah, almost like a hammer.
Yeah, okay. I think it hits my helmet and knocks it off, and the helmet like tumbles off to the side, maybe settles it towards feet or something. Um, and so John, like staggers for a split second and then turns that into almost like a juke. And he grabs, like he kind of comes up underneath and grabs the knight's breastplate and does a trip throw maneuver, like with all of his prodigious strength. Not only trying to throw the knight to the ground, but also trying to like wrench the breastplate fittings apart, like to break the straps or whatever and make it kind of hang open.
You absolutely do so. This armor has been in the elements for a long time. So it gives way, especially with not much beneath it, but bone and vines. So this breastplate kind of like falls to hang open, and you can see a rib cage and all kinds of like thorny vines kind of all entangled amongst it. The knight kind of stands there, chest opened, looking down, realizing the situation. Again, almost breathing heavily. You can see the rib cage exposed, kind of like almost rising and falling, expanding as if it were breathing in and out.
It has been a long time since I have met someone worthy of the title Knight. If I am to fail in my duty, I am glad that it is at your sword, sir.
Sir John like very clearly disengages from combat for a second, and he stands straight with his feet together, and he salutes and says, "Good Sir Berdelac, you are a credit to history."
And with that, Sir Berdelac charges forward one more time, throwing his shield aside and wielding his sword with both hands. Eli, would you please tell me how it is that you defeat the Knight of Thorns?
So he really gives it to me. He comes at me with both hands, and my shield simply cannot hold up to it. Like I take one blow and I can feel the thing splintering. I know that I might need it later, so I just throw it aside. And I've just got the sword, and the sword does a pretty good job at like parrying and redirecting the blows for a little bit. But soon I see that that's really not adequate either. And so he comes in kind of an overhead strike, and I bring my sword up to parry, but at the same time, what I'm really doing is like reaching out with one arm and grabbing his forearms. And I wrench him down so that his breastplate is kind of like right in front of me. I drop the sword, grab my rondel dagger, and just start stabbing the torso, like center of mass over and over again. Ice pick grip, just like putting the vines down.
There is a struggle, there is resistance, there is fighting back. But then it grows weaker and weaker with each time you drive this dagger home. Eventually, the body stops fighting, goes lax. The visor falls away to reveal a skull underneath. The vines, with what little power they have left, turn the face directly towards you, Sir John, and without its jaw moving, the voice says,
At last, my oath is broken, and I may rest. Thank you, Sir John of House LIII.
Sir John like is staring straight into the empty eye sockets of the skull, almost romantically. And he says, "Sleep well, Sir Berdelac. Your sword rests also."
and there is nothing more from the creature. The path now lies open. Before we go any further, though, we're going to go ahead and take our break. So, we're going to take a 10-minute bio, refill our drinks, kiss our spouses, smoke them if we got them, etc., etc. And then we will come back with the second part of session 53 of this campaign, titled Of Brambles and Blight. Sit tight. We will be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from our break. You were just listening to Shield Sister, which is actually a song that was written for this campaign by one of our previous players. And at the end of the game, you will hear another one of Josh's songs called Swordbreaker. Shield Sister was inspired by Ari, and Swordbreaker was inspired by Tord. So it's fun. Little bit of homage worked into the game here. So this is Beneath the Banner's Shadow. We are back with the second part of session 53 of Brambles and Blight. Sir John has just defeated an individual known as Sir Berdelac von Haltbedel, otherwise known as the Knight of Thorns. His body now lies at rest. A tangle of armor and bones and twisted vines that seem to be now just kind of a tangled mess on the ground. Here, outside of this intentional, perhaps, pathway that seems to lead deeper into this wall of thorns. Perhaps even a mythical castle that lies beyond. So, my friends, my players, what happens next?
Quick question for you.
Yes.
Does I'm sorry, I was just looking at Eli's old birdie. Does the
Dirty
Hot Metal
birdie.
family exist anymore, and are they attached to a house now?
I don't think that they do still exist.
Okay.
I think that he probably was the last of his line, kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. Now maybe you know why.
Right. Unless I see Sir John move for it, Dame wants to pick up the knight's shield, and I will take out of my pack my book of fairy tales, one of which included stories of, this very night, and I will leave it, much to the instruction of Fearnay, in the hand of this bone and vine individual, and I will take his shield unless Sir John needs it. And I will kind of pick it up and offer it to you, because Dane would have heard your shield crack. That's probably what pulled him out of his awe moment, right? Here's two of his favorite fighters, one in real life and one who's not supposed to be real life, fighting. Holy crap, right? It's dad punching Superman. But if you don't take it, I will definitely pick it up and take it for now.
I think, yeah, I'll say thank you, Sir Dane. My shield suffered damage during the fight.
So are you taking the shield from me?
I will, yeah.
Okay. That's completely fine. I will hand that to you.
The helmet was flung to my feet, and I'm going to pick that up and take it over to the body, or the remnants thereof, kind of put it in the crook of its arm, kind of fold the mail into place, kind of put my hand over top the skull, or what remains.
That was my helmet that fell over to your feet,
Oh,
not
was
the.
Got it.
I love
You take Sir John's helm and you're like, here, buddy.
You can have this.
Oh, thank you.
His helmet could have come off too.
No, this is not for you anymore. You're taking a shield.
Are we all giving something? Maybe we can let it keep the shield.
I'll throw you the helmet.
Thank you.
Okay. So, ahead of you, the Wall of Thorns awaits.
If no one goes to move forward, Ari will then take point again and carry on.
Okay.
I will follow Ari at a safe enough distance to not have her scold me or kick me.
I'll take up the rear again.
Okay. Ari, the moment that you enter the bramble thicket properly, you're struck with an odd sensation, especially given that your training has just rendered this entire function moot. You feel hunger. Like hunger. The kind where like you can feel your stomach kind of like changing its position and its shape inside of your body.
I stop at that moment and I turn back to the others. Be warned, it's not going to be pleasant going forward. I can feel it already. And then with that, the only thing she says, she can try to continue forward.
Each of you, as you move into this place, feel that same sensation, that same pang in the pit of your stomach, where it's almost as if you haven't eaten in days. You are beyond mere hunger. You are starving. All right. We're going to do a little bit of a mini game. You are in a maze. So, in order to work our way through this maze, we have this track above my head that is going to determine how long it basically takes you to work your way through the maze. So, what I need first is anybody, doesn't matter which character does so, to roll either a survival or a nature check.
I'm pretty good at survival, but I imagine Ari's way better. Oh,
I'm thinking Tord also might be very good at it.
Do it.
You'll probably all take a turn at some point, by the way. So
You first, Dane.
all right. I will go first. Sure.
okay. You doing nature or survival?
Knowledge, nature. We're gonna go survival.
Okay.
Dane couldn't tell you if something was natural or not, apparently.
Fair enough.
But he
About
can
20
tell you if it'll kill you or not.
I can tell you. Boy, churches will kill you. 25.
Okay. So you absolutely succeed.
That's the thing about mazes. You take lefts whenever you can.
So, Dane, you are using survival, likely tracking. What is it that you see, that you spot, that kind of leads you successfully through this first portion?
So I don't think it's something that led me successfully through it. I think it's something that prevented me from going the wrong direction. And so I think as we're going through it, and I'm looking around and kind of I've crushed that distance between myself and Ari, not necessarily intentionally, but she's doing like the scouting thing and Dane's doing the I'm Dane thing where he's just, eh. But I think we go to make a turn, and I look over, and there is the skull of a pixie that is just sitting twisted and partially crushed inside these vines, and then a second and a third, and I just kind of steer us not that direction, right? Like he comes to like a left or right, and it's like, oh, nope, we're gonna go this way.
Perfect. All right, someone, please roll me 2d4. And then total them together. Anybody?
7.
7. Okay. 7. You find yourself entangled in a dead end of brambles. So you are each going to take piercing damage to the tune of 10 points as you have to turn yourself around and backtrack.
So we haven't done this in a long time, but just remember, everyone has 12 temporary hit points that Dane grants you just for him existing.
Well, now we each have 2.
Right.
Perfect.
How many should I have lost for that fight, by the way?
How many do you have total?
95.
Roll percentile. See how bad it was.
Double lot. You're dead.
It's 80.
So about 80% of your hit points. So apparently it was very taxing.
Woof.
Yeah.
Okay,
The scene
so
we're walking away, and Sir John looks down and pulls up blood, and we're like, "Are you okay?"
oh, I feel like crap.
It's like gunshot wound he didn't tell us about.
Zombie bite.
Just gonna use my second wind real quick.
Probably a good idea. You could have probably taken a short rest before you actually came into the
Okay.
I can
thorn
heal
walls
you
too,
a bit.
if you'd like.
Short rest is how many? It's just half?
You can spend your hit die.
Okay.
So yours would be a d10 plus whatever your con modifier is.
And we got lots of them.
Oh yeah, y'all are like, what, 15th level?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can use 7 of them, 8 of them before you have to worry about not getting them all back the next time you long rest.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just heal back up to full between with a short rest then.
Okay. Okay. So, somebody roll me 2d4 again, please.
I got
Okay.
a 5.
5.
Total.
5. Okay. Roll me a 1d6, please.
1.
A 1. All right. Let me see.
Ooh.
Okay. So, you are making your way through this tangled mess of a path through this forest of brambles. And at some point, you come across a clearing, and you see a person, kind of busying themselves, hunched over a mound of like brambles and vines. And as you enter the edge of the clearing, this individual kind of stops and looks in your direction. You can see he has vines kind of growing around his shoulders and down his arms and kind of around his head, almost wreath-like. And his eyes have the appearance of almost like a wolf's. They seem to be like yellow on black. And as he kind of like turns to regard you, his face like contorts into a grimace. What are you doing here?
I think Ari kind of leans towards Dane and just kind of under her breath is like, is this another one of Mathuran's knights?
We're we're traveling to the castle? Question mark.
To the castle?
Mm-hmm.
So you're to blame for all of this?
Nope. We actually came here to stop it.
Likely
In a way.
tale.
We're here for a stone.
A stone. Do you expect me to believe that?
No, not at all.
There are stones lying everywhere. You could have had your stone and been gone.
Why are
you
you
here?
here?
He kind of bristles. I'm trying to undo this cursed blight.
Then you should help us.
How'd you get past the night?
Past what night?
Hmm.
What do you mean, what night?
What kind of a question is that?
Sir Bertilak, von Hotbettle.
You're saying utter gibberish.
How long have you been here?
I don't know.
Why not? Who else would know except you? I mean, you arrived here. You should know when you have arrived here. Asking us stupid questions.
Are we trying to start a fight?
Are you new to this realm?
Mhm.
Are you daft? When were you here?
We are very, very new to the realm.
You came here to reach the castle for what purpose exactly?
I already told you, for a stone. Are you daft? Are you daft?
Oh, a stone.
Ah, yes.
Right.
Okay.
And you don't even know when you arrived here. So, a lot of good you are.
I just need to fix this, and I hold up my sword arm.
What foul pact did you make, fool?
Well, some of those words are accurate. It's less of a pact and more of an impact. Look, you're not going to believe me when I tell you. You're going to
True
keep
enough.
accusing us of being here and causing this. Do any of us look like we could cause this? Are we so apparently incompetent that you can't believe we're here to stop it, but we're so competent you think that we started it?
Humans are complicated.
Only two of us are human.
Easy, Dane. You're confusing him.
Look, how about you go back to trimming the hedges and we'll go back to trying to get to
Trimming
the
the hedges.
castle.
You make light of this situation. A joke.
Look, sir, I've had a lot of really bad stuff happen to me and my friends and basically everyone I care about. And I still have to keep on going. So if I have to make light of the darkness so that I don't fall to my knees and give up, then I can make a joke at the expense of a guy who has ivy in his hair standing in the middle of a thorn bramble. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to believe us. And at the end of the day, you're not going to stop us.
And what if I intend to?
Then you'll be lying on the ground, wishing you hadn't. Just like everybody else who's ever asked us that same question.
You can see the vines on him are coiling almost like snakes. Like these like diamond-shaped leaves on it, almost acting like the heads of vipers. And you notice that the vegetation kind of around the clearing that you kind of found yourself in is starting to kind of move and twist a little, slowly, but definitely noticeable.
I would very much like to get to the castle to find a very particular stone that cannot be found anywhere else. We don't intend to stop you from trying to do your part in preventing this blight from spreading. But whatever method you have with these plants, the ones that coil around you and move to you at your thoughts, we can't do the same thing. So
It's hardly
believe us
my
or
problem.
not. All right. So let's suppose you mean to fight us. All four of us. And expend what energy it takes you to do that. Are you going to be any more well equipped to handle this problem than you are now?
Perhaps, if I am in fact staring at the source of the problem.
So you're here to solve it without knowing what the problem is. And that's any more daft than us looking for a stone.
Again, he bristles. You can see these vines coiling tighter. In my experience, when there is trouble, your kind are always at its center.
Yeah, you're not wrong. In our experience, whenever there's trouble, the four of us usually are thrust into its center.
You come here draped in iron. And you expect to solve our problems. For what reason? Kindness? Altruism? Hardly human traits.
Because as whatever this blight is spreads, it doesn't just spread through the plants, it spreads through people and hearts. The plants wither and die. The people grow pox and fall over. And the hearts lose hope. I can't let that happen. So, if you really mean to try and stop us,
Dane, please roll me a persuasion low.
pretty good at that. 19.
Okay. This individual has gotten close enough to not necessarily invade your personal space, but definitely close enough that he could probably strike you with the staff that he's using if he wanted to. And you can see these wolf-like eyes that he continues to like glare at you with. He is seethingly angry. There is something twisted within this person's heart. And you can tell that he is gnashing his teeth. You can see, even though his hair kind of falls in these kind of curtains around his face, you can see the veins like in his forehead like pulsing as he regards you this close.
I'm sorry someone hurt you that bad.
He says, and he kind of turns away from you for a moment. It is what is being done here that hurts me most.
I think it's what's being done here that adds to it.
You know nothing of me.
I don't.
You know nothing of my people, nor do you care. You build your castles. You clash your swords. You tell yourselves you're brave, strong, powerful.
I wish I was powerful. I wish I was strong. I wish I honestly could even say I was brave. I'm just hopeful that it won't always be like this.
You are a fool. All of you. Fools.
Probably.
Be on your way, then, and be damned. He reaches a hand up, and as he does so, some of these brambles and thorns kind of shrink away, opening a path forward, back into the maze.
Do I think he was Fey, Elven, or like what impression did I get?
Definitely Fey.
Okay.
Very much had elven traits about him, but more than just elven. Definitely Fey touched at the very least. Okay. Someone, please roll me 2d4.
Do it, Karen. Do it. Kill us all.
Do it.
Who?
2.
2.
2. Okay. Anyone, please roll me a survival or nature check.
I
Okay.
can go. I can
Okay.
go next, unless you
Yeah.
want to, Karen.
No, go for it. You haven't rolled. You roll.
Go for it, Tord.
Okay, I'm going to be survival.
Survival it is.
Oh no, we only got a 16.
A 16 beats the current DC of 13, so you
Oh,
advance
yay!
more on the right track. So the DC of the
On
next
the night
check
track?
will now exactly will now be a 15.
Have fun,
Okay,
Karen.
somebody roll me 2d4 again, please. You navigate your way successfully through narrow trails surrounded by brambles and thorns.
Got a 4 this time.
Or another survival or nature check, please.
I mean, I can try. We're getting to the realms of, I might not make it.
Well, I think it's only fair that we each roll at least once.
Okay, retry.
Karen's like, why didn't I roll earlier?
I know. I'm really regretting that choice now. Oh, well, it's not terrible. It's a 15.
15. That is the current DC. So you have successfully navigated a little further towards the end of this labyrinth. Okay, somebody roll me 2d4 again, please.
Somebody else's turn now because I did it twice.
Oh, a 4 again.
A 4 again. All right, another survival or nature roll.
Come on, Sir John. Bust out your survival in nature, buddy.
No, I was raised on a pillow, and I do not know any of this nature stuff.
Mm.
Right.
Well, at least
Well,
he's
I mean,
honest about
It's like
it.
none of us will let him do the survival.
You do not want me leading the way.
We saw him
Do
set
we-
up a campfire once.
Do we need
Yeah,
to
it-
put little pillows in your shoes so you don't have to deal with the nature stuff?
I do have to say, I'm the type of person who needs to clarify that in real life, I make a really great campfire.
Alright.
Don't let my character fool you.
Right.
This
Don't
is
let my name fool you in real life. I'm a very big man.
boundary stretching role play over here.
I mean, I can try and make this roll, or someone else can
Yeah,
make it.
no,
I'll
no,
try-
you do it. You've got the better chance of it.
We do, but also I can't roll all of them, so maybe I should roll the 19 when we get there.
But maybe it'll be something else.
All right, I'll give it a shot. Here we go. 20 total.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my best skills.
Fantastic.
Which
It's
is
serving
ironic
you
for
well.
your character.
Well,
Well,
the one that doesn't survive.
it's because there's no coming back skill.
Don't
Hey
call
Dane,
it,
how
come
we
back.
looking on survival over there? I don't know, there's a church on me.
Right.
But to be fair,
That's not how it
he's
is.
still here. Hence,
Parts
he
of me.
survived. He survived death by
True.
church.
Ever so reluctantly.
I mean, you've heard of recovering Catholics, right?
I was gonna say, same.
You might even call him born again.
Mm.
Baptized by stone and brick and mortar.
Let the first of you without sin throw the.
We don't throw stones at houses. We throw stone houses.
We throw houses at stones.
But I'm not a rocket.
We weren't aiming for you.
Amazing.
It's a really big footprint.
Okay. Somebody roll 2d4 for me, please.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Snake eyes, dose.
Dose. All right. Somebody roll survival or nature.
I guess it's
Big whammy.
my turn.
DC 19, yes sir.
All right. I've been let down before. Oh yeah. Total of 9.
Okay.
10 off.
So close.
So close.
You find yourself turned around, not really sure where things went wrong. The progress seemed to be furious and fast after you came across that very angry individual. But now it seems like you've had to double back on some of your pathing through here.
It's just
All
a
right.
really long branch that we had to explore because we took all lefts.
Mhm.
And it brought us back here. Like, well, fuck.
Okay. Somebody needs to roll 2d4, please.
I'll do the 2d4. Let's see here. Boop, boop. Roll. 7.
7. Once again, you are entangled in a dead end of brambles. You're each going to take 11 points of piercing damage, and you have to turn
Ouch.
around. Okay, 2d4, please.
I'll roll this time.
Yeah.
5.
Okay. Roll a d6, please.
D6. 4.
4. Okay. Is you can see that the light of day has somewhat faded. Perhaps maybe the growth overhead is a little thicker here than it is elsewhere, and there's kind of this almost twilight kind of like glow to this space, this kind of fog that seems to cling to the ground all throughout this island has taken on this kind of blue-gray kind of hue. And ahead of you, you see this soft, like, pulse of light, of like brilliant, like white silver light that kind of like starts to glow in the distance ahead, and then it slowly fades out, almost like a lightning bug, but very like slow. And then a little further away, you see it again at about the same height, and then again. And these seem to be kind of happening in this area, like a small area in front of you. And as you kind of make your way closer, you think you might see a figure that is illuminated each time this kind of white, brilliant light kind of lights up the area around it.
Would I be familiar with like will-o-wisp folklore? Would that be something that's common in Vykaril?
Yeah, it's definitely something that people in the north would probably have dealt with before, so it's likely something that you've at least heard tale of.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at the end of the telephone game about it though. So I get the hearsay and whatever. Yeah, so I guess if the party's at my back, I would approach this figure in the lights then.
Okay. You begin to approach, and as you do, you find another fae, what looks like, you know, an elf, but a little otherworldly, pale, and kind of dressed in kind of strange, decorative clothing, and with paint, you guess, maybe, could be blood. This individual moves over to a branch and kind of puts its hands on either side of the end of the branch, and as they do so, this white, blue, silver flower blossoms off of the branch and then blooms open, giving off a brilliant glow of light. But then within seconds, it begins to fade, it wilts, and its petals fall to the ground. This individual, no, goes to a different plant, doing the same thing. And you watch them do this over and over again, for however long you observe.
I mean, I feel like so John would kind of be looking at this, but then would look back at the others and kind of shrug, like, do we want to interact with this guy?
Hmm?
Ari's a little wary after the last guy that we met, talked to. Just want to get into another.
Maybe he knows a way out. I mean, he's
No. Moves to a different one and tries again, seemingly almost like straining harder.
Doesn't strike me as especially capable.
or this magic's really powerful.
I'm of the mind that this magic is far more powerful than we first anticipated. But I'm also thinking that whatever this is that we're in is affecting these people because they seem almost obsessed with what they're doing. Locked
We
in
don't
on
know
one
anything
task.
about that.
Ari just looks at you questioningly, like
Well, look, our options are either talk to him, or try and sneak by him, or turn around and go the way we've already gone.
at that Ari will just try to walk past him.
Hey, you! What are you doing there?
This Fae turns to regard you as if for the first time. Oh, forgive me. I was lost in what I'm trying to... This just won't work, and I don't understand why.
What are you
It
trying to
works
do?
before. Well, what I always do. To bring new life. New blossoms. To decorate the world with color and fragrance. But it's not working. He goes to another one and tries again. Same result. I don't understand.
And how long have you been here?
How long? I'm not certain. It does appear that maybe the sun is going down, but that hardly seems to matter. I don't know. I can't be losing my powers.
It's not you. It's not you. It's. And she just kind of like don't know what to say. Um, this, and she's kind of pointing at all the brambles and thorns.
We think whatever this blight is really strong.
Blight? What
These
blight?
thorns. Oh, oops. So these thorns, this whole area, this is only one part of what's going on.
Thorns. What are you talking about?
Are we literally like surrounded by these thorns
Oh,
still
yes.
at this moment? Yeah,
Yeah,
and so he's not
positively.
even seeing it.
It doesn't appear to be.
Hmm. Um. Hey. Um.
What is that over there to you?
Hmm?
Those and those. That there. Around that branch. Those. What do you think those are?
I don't know. That is a little strange. I'm sure it's just something local. I'll deal with it in a moment. Turns back to what he's doing, trying to force one of these things to blossom and bloom before it withers and dies.
So when he's distracted, can I cast detect magic?
Sure.
All right, so I will do so.
Casting
And
it on him.
yeah, well, I'm casting it to be able to see magic, but my concentration will be on him to see if there
I
is
see.
some sort of compulsion, mind affecting style magic.
Okay.
Like Dane is sure if he looks at these brambles, they're going to be utterly magical. He might look at the dirt and it'll be utterly magical. So it's kind of like you're about to look into a really bright area, so you're just trying to see that one spot. I mean, I might even kind of be doing this to try and like a little kid block it out.
Okay. So you activate this second sense that you have, and look around. And for starters, you are absolutely correct. These brambles are coursing with magic, almost as if you can see like the nutrients working their way through the fibers of the plants themselves. Furthermore, the fog, the mist that seems to kind of like hang everywhere around this island is like radiant with magic. This individual definitely seems to be under the effects of some sort of magic, though it's hard to tell whether it was directly targeted at this individual or just proximity.
Right. Um.
No.
All right. Well,
I would like to try something. The next time he casts his little magic and makes his little thing grow, and before it disappear like wilts and fades away, I'd like to cast like a minor illusion on it to make it look like it's staying.
Okay. Roll me a concentration check. So it would be a Constitution saving throw. You're muted.
Damn it! I rolled a nat 20.
Oh, fantastic.
So at 26.
Okay. Ignoring the pang of like rumble and hunger in your gut, you cast this spell, and you watch this individual like hold their breath, their hands like not moving. See, yes, finally, I have rooted out the problem. I think I just have to concentrate harder. He moves to another branch, and is going to start trying again.
I kind of like nudged Sir Dane to maybe like get his attention now.
he's under the effect of a spell. I can try and break it.
Or we continue on and try and break the whole thing.
Okay. I don't know if I can dispel the whole thing.
No, no, I'm not asking you to dispel the whole. I mean, we don't even know what it is yet. I mean, it might be something that we have to, I don't know, cleanse or something first. Like it may not even be, uh, your. I don't know all that magical jumble, but there could be
Uh,
something else. So maybe we should just like carry on with our little journey.
um, yeah, I'll start walking. Um, did you guys notice that that guy called himself the Knight of Thorns?
Of
How
course
long
I did.
how long have these thorns been around if he's picked up a nickname like that?
Well,
Well,
I'm assuming he's been around long enough,
But
since
the
Mathuran put him here.
but right, so are the thorns not part of the problem then?
It
Right?
might, like was asking earlier, maybe it's keeping them in, whatever
Or
this is.
or maybe it was a beautiful rose bush something to start off with, and now it's just thorns. I don't know. We should keep going though, because I have a feeling we have to go meet Mathern's mom.
Hmm.
indeed.
No,
And
no,
I'm
no,
going to
no,
keep
no, it
this.
worked right here, but now it's not working again. I don't understand.
And I'm going to keep the spell up until we're gone.
Oh, it hurts me so much to leave him.
Well, if we can find out what's going on here, maybe that might be the best way we could help him.
What if he runs out of magic and dies? There's nothing to eat here. If he just stays here casting spells over and over again.
Then we should hurry.
I,
I'm sorry, Dane. I would love to help him, but I don't see how we can unless we go and find what the source of this problem is first.
It's for the best, Sedaine.
we can't do both. I don't think. All right. It would just be one spell, maybe. All right. All right. Okay. Hmm.
You press
Just-
once back into the Briar Maze. Okay. I need 2d4, please.
Go for it, Sir John.
Seven.
7. You become lost once again in a tunnel of brambles. You take 9 points of piercing and are forced to turn around. 2d4, please.
All right, I'll go.
Yeah. I'll adjust.
6. I don't know if I've run
6.
that one.
Okay. You are making your way through, again, to call them paths is probably not really fair. There's an awful lot of like over and under and around that you have to do. But you're making your way further beyond a doubt. And eventually you come across a place where it's again kind of a clearing in this thicket. And there is a long table that has been sat here that is laden with all kinds of fruit and cornucopia and vegetables and dishes that are kind of all laid out on this long table. And as you kind of enter the edge of this clearing, you hear a voice that's kind of whispering. It's kind of whispering conversationally. And the moment that you walk into the clearing, the whispering stops. And you are, again, all starving.
Mhm.
Ari, do you have any more of those good berries?
No, I can only do that once per day. Sorry.
Huh.
Do you think this
Ah.
is what the fish feels like when it's looking at the worm on the end of a hook?
It almost seems like Sir John like takes offense to that notion. Uh,
I've never been fishing a day in my life.
and he kind of like stands up and shakes his shoulders and like rubs his eyes or whatever, and he's like, "This is fine." And I'm gonna invoke my second wind and recover some hit points.
I mean, it's not fine because that looks really good. And I wouldn't be normally saying this because, that's a meat pie. But for some reason, I really want to eat it.
I think it's the gravy. I mean, maybe just a little bit wouldn't hurt, right? Like a bite, just to tide us over.
We have already delved too deeply into the world of the Fae too many times before. We cannot fail now.
But if we starve to death, we'll fail. And besides, weren't you always telling me I had to eat that nasty mush to keep my strength up?
For moments like this.
But that mush has berries in it.
This is a test, Sir Dane.
I was never very good at tests.
And yet here you stand a knight.
A hungry knight.
Somebody's stomach grumbles
Gross.
loudly, audibly.
Everyone looks at Tord.
To where, like, yeah, it absolutely rings out in this little clearing.
Sorry, I'm really hungry.
And you hear that voice again. Rumble, 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 like a storm on the horizon.
Last time that we were in a magical place-ish, they fed us sticks. This is way better than sticks.
I remember one of the first places where we were fed some food and we ended up in an oven. So I'm not
Yet
sure.
here we are.
Staring at food on the table.
No ovens. Okay, I didn't see the ovens that time either.
Is there anybody here?
Yes. Yes. There's someone here.
Where are you?
You see from the edge of the wooded clearing a flower, almost, but large, turns towards you, and you realize again that you are in the presence of a Fae creature. This creature's eyes kind of glow with a hungry kind of orange, and all around her mouth you can see what looks like deep scarring. She is holding a humanoid skull that seems to have a flower growing out of one of its eye sockets. She regards you with these kind of glowing orange eyes before kind of ducking out of the surrounding vegetation and almost gliding towards you. Not really walking, but just kind of moving in your direction. I am here. And I'm famished. Do you have food? Please, will you give me food?
Is this table not yours?
This table is nothing but ash and rot. I need food. I am so hungry. Please give me something to eat.
Dana lean in close to Ari again. Are there Fae that eat people?
People?
I
Oh.
think with that, Ari's going to be like digging through her pack, trying to find some remnant of rations that she would have had for maybe when we were at Ben Shale's place. I do have rations, but I'm looking for like maybe a piece of like elven bread.
You you pull this and produce it. She kind of turns her eyes away, almost the way like a child would whenever presented with something that they don't want. And then turns back to look at you with like the sadness in her eyes. I want not for bread. I want for meat. I need meat. Something delicious. Something that was alive.
I back up one step.
Be not afraid. I am only hungry.
I am
Please.
afraid I
She then
don't
flits to
have
the next person.
any meat.
Something, anything to feed me. Please, I am so hungry.
I would like to cast command.
Okay.
There's a lead up to it. I think you see like Tord clench his fist as she's kind of flitting around. You once again hear that of Tord's stomach. I think we all know what you're getting at, and I think you should just leave. Leave being the command word.
What is the
DC
yeah.
16 wisdom save.
Wisdom save? Okay. She visibly shrinks from you whenever you issue this command. And you can see that initially she appears like she's going to succumb to this. To in fact
if
leave.
She recoils at all, my sword is drawn, and I will be ready.
Yep. She moves as if to leave, and then she changes her mind. She turns back. She says, "Please, I mean no harm. I need something to eat. Please, I will give you a story. In exchange, yes, in exchange for your gift, I will give you a story."
I have no meat for you.
But you do.
You and I both know I don't, and I'll raise my sword to her. The sooner you realize it, the better.
If you've no meat in your bags, then perhaps only a finger. Each of you have 10. That's 40 fingers. There's no reason to need all 40 fingers.
I'm gonna attack her.
And I'm gonna fucking divine smite as well because I'm hungry, and now I'm hangry, and she's pissing me off.
Okay. Roll an attack.
23.
Will absolutely hit her.
One-handed, so it would be 16 damage for just the slash.
What does it look like as you kill her?
It's effective. It's not really showy.
Just trimming the weeds.
Cutting the head off a flower.
And it's almost even that easy. One swipe of your blade, and it's as if you were cutting grass. She falls beneath the weight of your sword with a single whimper. And she falls to the ground, and you watch as the orange glow in her eyes dims and goes dark.
I will turn to the party. Condemn me if you wish. I wasn't going to be eaten. Not again. And I'll turn to walk away.
Aru was about to say something, but I think she realizes that now is probably not the time or the place. So she bites her tongue, and then that piece of bread that she had was going to give to the lady. She pops it in her mouth and eats it to give her the will to walk past the table of food and follow toward.
There's like the audible slam of sword into scabbard, followed by God damn it!
Ari, you put this piece of bread in your mouth and begin to chew, and instantaneously, this bread feels like ash, sand that you've just like taken a big bite of. It tastes moldy.
Oh, I think I spit it right back out then. Just
Okay. You head back out into the brambles, and I need 2d4, please.
I haven't rolled in a while.
Yeah.
3.
3. I need someone to roll a survival or a nature check, please.
All right. Here we go. 19.
The end is nigh.
you just got to do that one more time.
2d4, please.
I got it. Hold on.
Say, roll that beautiful bean footage.
3 again.
All right. Survival or nature, please.
All right. Who wants to roll it?
You do. I heard you do.
I took us to a table that was full of ash, apparently, but I'll go again.
I am completely happy to let someone else roll, but I will roll if that's what we want.
7.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we collectively feel about the fly spell?
Feels
They've
not going to
actually
work very well.
restricted the space above the
It's true.
hedge with a no-fly zone.
Mhm.
Limits the capacity of the levitation spell.
No
to
doubt.
12 feet.
No doubt.
All right.
If you'd have
2d4.
read your magical
I'll do the
construction
2d4.
rule.
Oh, you want to roll a 2d4, Eli?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Eh, eh. That is an 8.
8. Once
You
again,
succumb to hunger.
you die of dysentery.
Yep.
You become entangled. You take 7 points of piercing damage and must turn around. All of you have all kinds of these little cuts and pokes as you have made your way through this place. Okay. 2d4 again, please.
Karen.
Oh no, okay. 3.
3. All right. Survival or nature?
I will try the survival in nature, leaving the last one for Dane.
Does somebody maybe want to help Ari?
Fuck no.
All right, I'll help Ari, then she can help me. Also,
on her fucking own.
Also, every time we take a short rest, I can give you guys back those temporary hit points. So
we might have to do that soon, is what you're saying?
what I'm saying is that we can if we get to a point where we want to take a short rest, I can mitigate some of this thorn damage. But I will roll to help you. Go ahead, Karen.
So that's
so you can roll with advantage, correct? Yep.
Advantage.
Nice.
Roll. Oh, I got a nat 20 for 24.
There we go.
Alrighty. Nat 20 is worth 2 spots.
Finally.
Sweet. And it was the advantage that gave me the nat 20. Otherwise, I would have just had a dirty 20.
Perfection. Okay. You exit the backside of this thick ring of brambles that forms this barrier, this wall, and you can see what looks like a castle somewhat in the distance, kind of up, further incline, kind of situated on the top of a rocky outcropping. But between here and there, not far from the edge of where these brambles are growing, you see something else that draws your attention, a different kind of building. You see a series of logs, trees, roots that seem to almost have been woven or worked together to form kind of a conical shape, almost like a hut. And you can see woad, painted on the exterior of these branches in a myriad of runic symbols, and there are ropes kind of hung everywhere you look. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. So, we made it, y'all. We got through the Wall of Thorns. Fantastic stuff as always, y'all. Thank you all very much. I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can give any kind of parting words that they would like to, and then we're going to call it a night. So we're going to start with the person who wasn't here at the beginning of the game, Karen.
Oh, it was so good to be back and get into this game. It's been a while and I've missed you all so much, so I'm glad we got to do that tonight and jump back into the world, and I cannot wait for our next session, which will be super fun. Yeah, this place is great. It's creepy and eerie and lovely and weird all at the same time. I love it, and I kind of want to get out of here as quick as we can because it's, like I said, creepy and weird and everything. Yeah, so I don't have much to say. I'm very thankful to be back. I'll pass it on. Bye, catch ya.
Pleasure as always, Karen. Thank you so much. Okay, next up is Eli.
I've been Eli Kurtz, and yeah, this has been a great time. It had we kind of joked at the beginning that it was like Sleeping Beauty meets Monty Python, but there was a whole lot of cool folklore and fairy tale kind of stuff that was sprinkled in, so it was fun throughout the entire time. Um, Looking forward to next time, and in the meantime, anybody who wants to should go check out Sword Opera, my latest game, which has been officially published and like out into the world. So big, exciting deal.
It really is, man. Genuinely. Putting together a game of your own is no small feat. So I am very impressed, and though I don't necessarily have any authority to be, I'm proud of you, just as a friend. So,
well, thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's a monumental thing, indeed. So, yeah. Next up, we have Steve.
Hey, I'm still Steve. It was really great to play with you guys. After like 22 and a half years or however long it's been since we've been able to get together, and then also I've been able to join. Great session as always. Jeremy, you do such a wonderful job with this. So yeah. Other than that, I don't have much other than the world really sucks a lot. So if you have people that you're close to, hug them. And if you're not close to them, hug them anyway.
Get close to him.
Yeah,
That's right.
How does that phrase go? Hug your friends often. Make it weird.
Yeah, just check in because not everybody's okay.
Or if they say to
Absolutely.
stop, stop.
Well, yeah,
Also
consent is king, indeed. But no, man. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot in the world and in life in general that seems intent on hurting us. So we gotta take the good where we can get it, and gaming with friends and hugs.
This is dorky, but it's awesome. So my dad passed away like 2 weeks ago now. There we go. Yeah. And in the previous week beforehand, I had to go up for a doctor's appointment. So I'd been over there and I've been talking to him. Just because his mentalness had not been there.
Yeah.
And we got there and he goes, "Hey boy," which is that's how he talks to me every single time, right? And so like it looked like it was gonna be a good day. And then he goes, "When are you gonna graduate the police academy?" I've been out of the police academy for almost 6 years now, right? So I Dad, I'm out. Da 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 da. He's like, "Give me a Diet Coke." I give him a Diet Coke. I bring it back over to him. He goes, "When are you gonna be out of the police academy?" Right. This is within like 2 minutes of each other. So I'm like, all right, well, F this. We're not gonna talk about this. Let me divert the conversation, right? And I shit you not, Jeremy. He looked at me and goes, "So when are y'all playing banners again?"
Oh man.
The dude couldn't remember I wasn't in the police academy anymore, but he can remember we played this game.
That's incredible. Yeah, thank you for that, Steve. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. Like I said, we just celebrated the 20th anniversary of my dad passing last week, so I'm there with you. It's difficult sometimes to find the good that's in the world, but I promise you, it's out there. You just got to keep looking. It's all about balance, really. You just got to find enough good things to buoy you through the times that are dark and hard. So I am very, very thankful that though you had such a recent tragedy befalling you and your family, that you wanted to be here and that you made it happen. We missed you last time, and it's been several months since we got to play, so it was very good for me to be able to see your face and hear your voice again.
I appreciate it. I really missed you guys.
Same, brother. Same. Much love. All right. Last but certainly not least, Baron.
How do you follow that up?
I'm Baron.
Yeah,
I can juggle. I don't know.
And now here's the levity and woe.
I'm Baron. I play an orc paladin here. I play a divorced dad on MTD. I'm gonna run a cowboy game next month here. Hope to see y'all there.
Hell yes. So what Baron is referencing, if you are in the dark about it, is on October 10th and 11th, right here on the channel, we will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Erasmus Expeditions. And in doing so, we will be having not one, not two, not three, but 4 stones. No, 4 games. And I will be running a game on Friday night, and then there will be 3 guest GMs who will be running games on Saturday throughout the day. And I'm really, really stoked about it. I'm very proud that I have managed to run this channel for 10 years with over 400 videos on it. That's a lot of hours of gaming. And every single one of them has been incredible. I have been incredibly fortunate to have the capability of playing games with people from all over the world, and making friends with some of the best people that I've ever met in my life. So thank you to the 4 of you for being those kinds of people, those kinds of players that I look forward to sitting down at the table with every single time that we can, even when it doesn't happen for months. It's a rare treat, but it's one that I seem lucky enough to get multiple times here on the channel. So thank you. For those of you who may have watched and tuned in this evening, thank you very much for giving us some of your time. I really do appreciate that people come to this channel and find some kind of entertainment or educational stuff, learning how to play, what have you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and spending a little bit of time with us here. If you like what you saw, then do all the stuff that the YouTube algorithm likes to see. Hit the like button and subscribe and share the link out with your friends. Talk about the game. Come back and, watch another video. Watch other content on the channel. Leave a comment. All of those kinds of things. But, yeah. It helps the channel grow. It helps encourage these shenanigans that you see. So, yeah. What else? What else? Remember that kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to someone, and like we just discussed, you have no idea what's going on in someone's life and how devastating they might feel just walking around. And if it costs you absolutely nothing to be kind, and it could make all of the difference in someone's day, week, month, year, then that's a very easy exchange. That's easy commerce, good economics. The return on your investment is massive. Incidentally, it's also how we make the world a better place to live in, is through one act of kindness at a time. So go out there and be kind. Unless they're a fucking Nazi, in which case I hope you brought your brass knuckles with you. All right. I think that's about everything that we've got here. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here and kick off the weekend. So until next time, your dice roll high and your snacks always be in reach.
Teeth.